little pulses of nitric oxide in these specialized cells called photocytes. It's kind of cool to know, but I prefer to think that it's magic. Since I started Whisper in the Woods, I thought a lot of things about nature were magical, and I've since learned a lot of the science behind it. And another fascinating fact that you may know has to do with our fall colors. When the leaves change to beautiful oranges and yellows in the fall, actually what happens is they don't change at all. The green chlorophyll from summer, which is how the tree feeds itself, just simply fades away. And to me, I take from that, God, can I think about that in my own life? When the green just fades away, I let my true color shine through. And I admire you ladies for coming to this kind of event, because you've done that, even possibly just a little bit this weekend, let those true colors shine through. And that's what I find so inspiring in nature. We can derive great metaphors. We can simply enjoy and appreciate the beauty of nature. We can go out there and find a little meditation, peace, and relaxation. But what I do know is if you have the ability to believe in magic, then you can believe in possibilities. And if you believe in possibility, you can dream. And if you simply spend some time out there and you listen, possibly you'll hear that voice, that whisper in the woods. And I thank you for having me. I'd be happy to answer any questions about any of the photography or anything I'm doing with Whisper in the Woods, if anybody has any. She asked me what kind of camera that I use. I use a digital camera. I used to shoot film, and it's the kind that has a lens in the front and a shutter, and you push the button and it takes pictures. And I know what you're asking me. I generally use a Nikon product. But my point is that no matter what camera you use, to me photography is really about art and your way of seeing the world. So I don't care. It doesn't matter what camera you use or I use or anybody uses. So go use whatever you have and enjoy the hobby of photography. But I have a Nikon digital camera, and some of the photographs, particularly in Alaska, were taken with 80 to 400 millimeter zoom lens. A lot of occasions we were quite close to the bears. And then a lot of the other birds that you saw at the beginning, I took with a 500 millimeter lens, which is about yay long and about that big around on the end, so pretty big. And I mount that right on the front of my kayak when I go out on the water. So, thank you for asking. Yes.
How did you get so close to the grizzlies and still feel safe?
She asks how I got so close to these grizzly bears and still felt safe. And I did. There was only one small occasion where I felt a little nervous, and the rest of the time I was very comfortable. I was in Hallow Bay, which is in Katmai, in Alaska, which is out on the Alaska Peninsula. If you know where Kodiak Island is, you fly north from there back onto the Alaska Peninsula. And Hallow Bay is a spot that's really known for bears that are habituated to people. There aren't a lot of people that visit, but people do. And the bears completely ignored us. As long as we behaved, they ignored us. I was there with 5 other photographers, or there were 5 of us total photographers, and a guide. And no, the guy did not carry a gun. He did have pepper spray, but he's never had to use pepper spray on a bear in that area. So it was completely. I wouldn't recommend walking up close to a grizzly in any other situation. We gave them their space, and a lot of the times that we got really close shots was that we stood still. I had a tripod. We'd stand still, and then the bears may come by us. And I had 2 occasions where a bear walked by a good 10 feet, and that was pretty exciting to me. Can I answer any other questions? Yes?
Birds in flight. How do you do that so clearly?
To get the photographs of birds in flight?
Get such sharp.
You have to spend a lot of money on really expensive equipment, to be honest. A really good camera that can shoot a lot of frames per second, because as soon as you get a bird, in there, you want to go bang, 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 bang. It's kind of like a semi-automatic gun. You just bang, 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 as many as you can take. And then having, that glass, a lot of glass, a big lens to be able to, really zoom in on them. And always, I photograph on a tripod. So anybody who's out kind of shooting handheld, you're just not going to get any crisp, clear shots. And I have a special bracket for my tripod that's made for long lenses. That's kind of a gyroscopic thing, so I can just follow the bird, which is pretty cool. So all those pieces together helps to get the birds in flight shots.
Were those baby eagles?
Yes, there was an eagle's nest that was fairly accessible. I had to shimmy up a little rock face to get in there. And we stayed for a very, very short time. I don't like to upset wildlife. I don't, if I do feel like I do it all, I leave right away. That's my personal ethic. And those were baby eagles. They had not fledged. So if you all remember the shot, there were 2 in a nest. They're about as big as the adults at that point. They grow so fast to the size, but they're not quite ready to fly. So, but they don't get that bald head for about 3 to 4 years.
What is your website?
Thanks for asking. Well, whisperthewoods.com is the website for the publication, but I do have some cards over here. Feel free to pick one up for our website, enjoynature.org, which I'm doing in conjunction with some nature centers and some other organizations. And that one has a lot more fun stuff on it to get articles and information. There's information on there to help you plan some nature-based trips and things like that on the site. Thank you. She's just giving me a compliment. Was there another question?
Yeah, was that one picture that you had of the soaring bird, was that a condor?
I did have a California condor in there. I shot that out of the Grand Canyon. And I don't know if you noticed, it was numbered, and right on the wing there was a big number, and it also had a transmitter with a little antenna. They all do in the canyon, so I was able to see quite a few and enjoyed that shot because you could kind of see the canyon in the background as well. Yes?
How long have you been taking pictures?
Well,
Photography?
yeah, I studied photography. I have a degree in photography. And I actually have been an artist my whole life. My favorite thing to get for Christmas was construction paper and glue. I've always been creative, and I just found the camera to be my tool of choice for my artwork. That's how I look at it. So when I first went to college, I studied art, and I decided to take a photography class, and then I was pretty much hooked from there. And so it's been, I've been out of college for, well, I don't have to share my age, right?
Oh, there are a lot of people older.
That's good. Probably 15 years. Yes?
What's been your biggest challenge in publishing a journal?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think the biggest challenge, honestly, now that I take a second to think about it, it's not a difficult answer, was the fact that I set out to do something because I had a vision, and I put it in this mold of a business. And along the way, I made sacrifices on both sides, and the vision was much more important to me than the business. And I struggled emotionally because I wanted to be successful at both. And that was really difficult. That's been difficult.